You didn't take the NPDP for, I mean, seriously.
You mean
the NPDP when they had a split then?
Again, you see,
because if you look at it, we'll see how this emanated, how it metamorphosed into a strong opposition to the extent. That's why we're asking if it's a slip. We also recall how so many. I'll go back to the comments. Some even said, they should be called names if the opposition survived a year. And we have seen that they're waxing stronger and stronger because of what is happening. Now, people say it's a better democracy now, as rightly put it, which is very key there. But again, looking at it critically, looking at your institute and the party, have they been able to have a mechanism for sorting out differences and any kind of friction that led to what we saw in the PDP?
You see, the beauty of democracy is the fact that it provides individuals the right to decide at any point in time. It provides a mechanism for conflict. Conflict is an integral part of democracy. And because when you have 2, 3, 4 people having different areas of interest, you are talking about conflict. The capacity to manage this conflict is what defines a political party, the mature one from what I call them, the infantile ones.
Does the PDP have that?
No, PDP, see, when you have those schisms in the PDP, attempts were made to correct them. And as I said earlier, the reason for those schisms in the PDP was more because some people felt they must have the way. See, a political party cannot be run by individuals on account of their terms. They must learn that there are terms, there are organizations, there are regulations, and they must, irrespective of how senior you are, you must be able to follow the laid-down rules. Either there are leadership in place, obey them, respect them. If you don't agree with them, the next election, vote them out. But as long as you remain there, then respect the institutions of leadership.
Sorry, Chamberlain, that means in all of those conflicts we're talking about, because we're trying to see how we can sort things nationally, it has never been on a national interest, but personal interests.
Well, see, it's about how you define national interest. Individuals champion interests that are...
Let me quickly give you a small definition. National interest of my people...
I know. The thing about national interest is this. See, individuals are the ones who champion national interests, right? The way they define it from their perspective is maybe different from your perspective. But national interests are interests canvassed by people with a particular point. And a political party provide an aggregate. You provide a type of aggregate of interest, which now you might so what you could call a national interest. So, in effect, you may not see them as pursuing individual selfish interests. Everyone, and including those who left, for me, are also champions of democracy. Don't regard them as truants, but they really are champions of democracy because we are growing our democracy. Whatever we have now, for me, is an evolution from what we had in the past. Don't forget the fact that this is about the longest democratic governance we have in this country. And we're growing, we're learning. Just like we're going to sit down after the election to look at what happened. Are we going to do that? And what are the lessons we're learning from these and then be able to move on to the next level?
For the undecided voter out there, if they look at the electricity supply situation in the country at the moment or the economic situation as it affects them personally, do you think they will vote for your party?
Now, let me just give you a brief about this electricity problem. People tend to look at the issues now. They don't look at history. That's what I call the politics of power in Nigeria. Remember in 1979, Nigeria had developed 6 river basin authorities, each with the capacity to generate energy. 1979, the NPN government at that time, for whatever reason, stopped that process. In fact, it also stopped the European government in the southwest from also developing their own power project. What was the problem? It's politics of power. Nothing happened until, again, 1999. There was no investment in that sector. You remember somebody said he would resign within 6 months, we couldn't fix it. He got there and discovered that it was a serious systemic problem. And because of that, there had to be what I could call a much more constructive review of the entire process that led us to where we are at this point. Now, power project, by international standard, takes 5 years cycle. 5. It's 5 years.
But there were several...
Hold on. By international standard. Now, don't forget, after 2007, there was this policy again of, again, if you look at it again, it's the politics of power. The attempt was made to scuttle that process. And we stopped for 2 years. And those 2 years, we had lost everything. Power projects, you cannot buy them on the shelf. You have to start all over again.
Yeah, but
so what you find, hold on, what you find now is the fact that there is this consistent process now. We now have more pipelines. And one of the ways to stop this politics from influencing our electricity is to privatize it, which is what government has done. And within that context, it takes some time for this process to farm itself up. But we must avoid in future the problem of politics determining how we run our public institutions.
All right, let me bring in this one. I mean, since you say internationally it takes 5 years for those kind of things to happen, but was this government mindful of that? Because they came up with the power sector roadmap. They set up targets at that time of the amount of generation we should expect at certain times. That didn't happen.
No, you see, when you're transforming, there will be this period in which you have some little challenges. You're moving away from public bureaucracy to private sector-led situation. And for me, a major part of that is to free our public institutions from this unnecessary politicking. It has destroyed many things in Nigeria, and we cannot continue to allow politics to determine them. Now, with the privatization process that hasn't finally taken place, what we're expecting now is an improvement in that process. When you plan policies, you give timeline. It's normal.
Do you think your party will win?
We will win convincingly.
Convincingly?
Convincingly. I can tell you this. We will win convincingly because we have...
But some of the party leaders have said, no, it's not going to be business as usual this time.
But I have a research from the research institution. We've done a survey. We know what is happening nationwide. I interact with civil society and other places, or other groups. I can tell you convincingly because do we have an alternative to President Jonathan? We don't have. Look,
the voters will have a say on that this weekend when that time comes, don't you think? Dr. Lanre Adebayo is the Director General of People's Democratic Institute. I mean, some call it PDP Institute. They won't be wrong if they call it that, would they?
It is part of PDP's investment in our democracy. The duty is to promote democracy in the country.
Thank you very much indeed for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
Let's have another look at the headlines. Victor Matthias is here again. Hello, Victor.